Hello everyone, I'm doing a quick video from the top of the greenhouse today. It's nice and warm up here, even though it's a little bit chilly outside. And it's really pleasant because I get to see all the new growth happening. Spring in the greenhouse pretty much starts in February, when we're not having cold snaps, that is. The days are noticeably getting longer and all the plants are reacting. So let's take a look and see what we got going on. This is a Annona reticulata, also known as a custard apple. This variety is called a Fernandez, which is one that was discovered by Julian Lara, or maybe it was his father. I bought a cutting of this and grafted it onto a Cherimoya rootstock about 3 years ago. Julian mentioned in one of his videos that the reticulata and the Cherimoya tend to try to separate from each other. I wondered if that might be the case. It just seems like this Cherimoya wants to try to grow around the reticulata. I mean, the graft is very fused, very solid, but the Cherimoya seems to have its own plans and doesn't want to put a lot of energy into the reticulata. It's kind of keeping it small, which is actually not a bad thing if you're in a cold climate like mine and you're trying to keep your plants on the smaller side. But we'll see what happens to it long term. It's 3 years and it's only maybe 3 feet tall the most. Keeps coming back, so I guess we'll see how it turns out. This is a strawberry guava. It's putting out new growth. I had it outside until December and I just pulled it in. We had a lot of cold weather this year. It started in the middle of January. Normally we get 1 or 2 cold snaps a year here in the Seattle area. Cold snap for us involves a few days of descending temperatures, slightly below freezing. Then we have like 3 days or so of substantially cold weather in the 20s, maybe getting above freezing in the daytime. And then then it slowly pulls out of it for a couple of days. Usually there's a snowfall as we're going into it and a snowfall as we're coming out of it. It's pretty typical. Well, this year we not only had 1 cold snap, but we had like 3 or 4 of them in a row, where they had about 2 days of slightly warming up in between and then just dropping back into another one. Never, it's really unusual. I never saw anything quite like it here. I decided to cold test a lot of my bigger trees that had reputation for being cold hardy, and they were doing great until about the 3rd cold snap in a row, and then some of them starting to look pretty beat up. So I started hauling some of them in on the 2nd or 3rd cold snap. Some are still out there doing just fine, but there's definitely a few that got beat up. I'm not sure if you're a proponent of Murphy's Law, but seems like when I go to cold test something, the weather decides it really wants to let it have it, so it gets thoroughly tested, put it that way. This is a Eugenia florida. It's a small fruiting plant, makes these little berries that taste pretty good. This one lost all its leaves, probably left it outside a little too long, but it's flushing new growth. This one here is a Puteria. It's a cinnamon apple. I got to taste the fruit in the Fruit and Spice Park in Miami several years ago. It's actually 2021, I believe. And got to grow some seeds, and this is one of them. Over here I have some canistels, seedlings that I've been growing. And this is another Puteria. It's a green sapote. I bought a box of green sapote, again from Lara Farms, a couple years ago. and grew some green sapotes out. I like them. They do taste a lot like mammy sapote, but they're a little creamier and definitely a lot smaller. They look like a big acorn. It's very interesting. Another small Puteria, it's salicifolia. This one's interesting because I actually left it outside until about December or maybe November, and it was cold hardy. Never thought there was such a thing as a cold hardy Puteria, but very little damage, and as soon as I brought it back inside, it started recovering and trying to regrow. So that's an interesting one. Over here is a Patomba. This is a Eugenia Lushnathiana. I brought it in also in probably late November, early December. Didn't do anything for a while, just kind of sat here, and now it's trying to flush a whole bunch of flowers and some new leaves. So you can see the flowers come out. Let me zoom in a little bit here. Try to zoom in a little more. Oh, there we go. It makes a little orange fruit. It's about the size of a large grape. It's a bit tart. Reminds me of eating apricots. It's pretty nice though, especially though for people who do like their sour fruits. I have lots of jaboticabas, and they are just lovely this time of year, flushing out a bunch of new growth. And I also have some various guavas. This is a Brazilian type of guava. It's I'm trying to remember the name. It's it'll come to me after the video, I'm sure. Over here is a Java plum. I grafted this one a couple of years ago. Still waiting for it to flower for the first time, but who knows, maybe it will. This is a kombucha, which is a more tropical variety of jaboticaba. It makes a larger orange fruit. This could be a long time for this. I actually bought this plant on that same Florida trip I was talking about. It was smaller, and I was able to get it in my carry-on suitcase. Just kind of wrapped the root ball up in a piece of plastic and stuck it in there. Planted. It's gotten quite a bit bigger. Over here are some jaboticabas that have been grafting. A few that are starting to leaf out. I'd say star fruit back there. It's a variety that starts with a K. I forget the name, but anyways, it's pretty nice. I believe it's possibly an Indian name. Some more jaboticabas. This is an ice cream bean. I tried to graft an ice cream bean, and they all failed, but this graft looks like it took. It just hasn't pushed yet, so it's still green. Just experimenting to see if it's even possible to graft ingas, and apparently it is. Let's see, what else do I have over here? Another jaboticaba that I've grafted. This is a Novak cauliflora. I tried a little experiment, just leaving some leaf on there, a little bit, and just kind of wrapping it up. Seems to kind of help for keeping the scions alive. This just started pushing about a week or two ago. Some wax jamboos. This is a red trunk, Eugenia laytonii. It's very pretty growth. A whole bunch of black cherry of the Rio Grande potted up together. Need to separate those. This is an interesting one. This is another Eugenia that's supposedly supposed to flower at a very young and small state. I've had this for about 2 years. It's called a Pitangao Amarella, which is yellow. I got these both at the same time. It looks like the one that's potted in the 1 gallon seems to be happier than the one that's potted in the 2 gallon for some reason. Maybe it just likes to be a little bit root bound. It's very possible. Got this Eugenia multicostata. Has very leathery leaves on it. Another Jaboticaba that I grafted. This is another Novak cauliflora, and I did try to leave a little bit of leaf on the sign, and I'm seeing a little bit of some push here and there. It's almost a micrograft. Try to do 2 of them for a better chance, and I think they're both still alive. This one might be alive, it might be dead, I'm not sure. We'll see. Give it a chance. Try to remove some of this growth coming out here, so it'll push into there. This is a giant mulchi. It's a Plinia inflata. Grown this one from seed for about 3 or 4 years. It's an ultra tropical. It does have this tendency to attract aphids, and of course then they beat it back. But when I get it outside when the weather is warm, it definitely tries to take off more. A lot of stuff when you grow it in the greenhouse, the bugs definitely try to set it back. Let's see, what else do I have to show you? This one is referred to as a butterscotch fruit. At least that's what they call it in the Fruit and Spice Park. It's actually known as an olasapo. The fruit is like a small mango in size and appearance, kind of orange, but it's very fibery, and it does taste like butterscotch candy. A very interesting fruit. So I grew a few of them. This is a Grimmy Chama that's doing really well. A couple miracle fruits that I've been growing from seed for about 3 years or so. They keep flowering. I've only got 1 berry off of each one, but hundreds of flowers. You can see, I'll try to zoom in here so you can see the flowers coming out. But yeah, there you have lots of flowers, but mine just tend to not really set fruit too much. A couple of banana guavas over here, also known as Psidium robustum. And this is a lemon drop, Garcinia or mangosteen. This is just the standard variety. Can't remember the botanical name on that one. I know one is gardenia, and the other one, I just forget. This is a couple of papayas here. I got seeds, and the person that gave them to me is called them Ruby papaya. I know papayas can get massive. I do what I can to keep them small because I'm not in a hot climate. They will die outside, and the goal is just keep them suppressed, and hopefully they will make a fruit so I get a sample. Some more Murcias or Murciaros. Just a lot of stuff up here. Some more grafted Jaboticabas. This is a rare variety that I grafted called a willow. It's got these long, slender leaves, kind of pretty. This one looks like some grass that didn't work out. Probably needs some new cyans. I'll try that one again. Well, this video is getting really long. Thanks for watching. See you on the next one.